Time now for the markets with Leighton, and farm-raised catfish processing continues to be down, you say.
That's right, Artis. For the first 10 months, it's down 10% compared to the same period in 2013. We'll have more on this coming up. Also ahead this week, some analysts believe the high demand for soybean meal may be short-term. Corn prices may move into a sideways trading pattern, and cold weather increases the threat of PED virus for the hog sector. American Soybean Association president and Mississippi farmer Danny Murphy credits good demand for the opportunity for better prices at the farm gate. Murphy told Brownfield Ag News this week, demand for soy meal and demand for whole soybeans for export have provided market support. However, some analysts like Elaine Cubb believe the price picture for beans is going to change.
I really was bearish on soybeans, and I still am. I mean, they're overpriced compared to corn. The only thing that's been driving soybeans up is this idea of the shortage of soybean meal. Soybean meal made it over $400 a ton again this week, but it didn't stay there by the end of the week. But that just feels like a panicky, short-term kind of situation. And when you've got nearly 4 billion bushels of actual beans in the country, I don't necessarily think it makes sense for the soybean market to be following meal to this degree. So, yeah, I think that there's real potential for the soybean futures market to correct back down. But in the meantime, longer term, again, when you're going into the spring, I have liked the idea of getting rid of them, not trying to keep them in condition and store them physically. But if you want to be bullish on soybeans, do it with options.
Weaker exports are one factor beginning to hurt the corn market. Another is the near conclusion of harvest in other parts of the country. Analyst Naomi Bloom says the recent bullish key reversal in corn is a huge bottoming signal.
I don't feel that we're going to see the market just totally crash and fall apart. But at the same time, because of the global fundamentals being what they are and the crop size here in the United States and more harvest pressure, looking for sideways to lower prices also into the end of the year. But again, that bullish key reversal is a big deal.
Our trivia quiz pertains to soybeans, and here's the question. What country is the biggest buyer of U.S. soybean meal? Not whole beans, but the meal. Is the answer A, Mexico, B, China, C, the Philippines, or D, Canada? I'll tell you at the end of the markets. The latest snapshot of the U.S. farm-raised catfish industry came out since our last program of Farm Week. In the month of October, producers in the U.S. received a pond bank price of $1.19 per pound for premium-sized live fish. That is 9 cents per pound more than was paid 1 year ago. Farm sales totaled 25.5 million pounds round weight, a drop of 3% from October 2013. Meanwhile, processor sales were down much more. They totaled just a hair over 11 million pounds, a decrease of 18% from October 2013. This fall, the U.S. farm-raised catfish industry launched a new television campaign, one designed to increase consumer awareness of the product. The 30-second spot depicts a young soldier's homecoming celebration, complete with a family gathering and a meal of fried catfish. The Catfish Institute says it wants to keep the product top of mind among its core consumers as the holiday season begins. There are unofficial reports that the PED virus is surfacing again in the hog sector in parts of the cold Midwest. Of course, cold conditions provide exactly the right fuel for porcine epidemic diarrhea virus to occur. Analyst Walt Hackney comments on the situation as far as the pork markets.
There are rumors breaking out in the colder areas, which, as we all know, PED virus is more susceptible to the cold weather. And there is some evidence of PED breaking out in certain areas. There's also some potential of vaccine that's being developed that's going to help us eradicate part of that if we're lucky.
Before our feature story, let's check the trivia answer for this week. The correct choice is A. Mexico is the biggest buyer of U.S. soybean meal. China is the top buyer of whole U.S. soybeans.